You know, it was the first time I realized there was a really big issue is when I was listening to the radio and You Don't Know Me is playing, and it's like, that was Jax Jones with You Don't Know Me. Are you crazy?
Hi, my name is Nick Levine and I'm joined by Ray for the latest in Enemies in Conversation series. You're releasing amazing new EP, Euphoric Sad Songs. How's it been releasing in the current situation? Has it made things more difficult for you if you had to get creative?
I think it's just been, for all of us creatives, just completely different. I think being so used to seeing multiple different buildings and rooms a day and traveling around to, you know, a whole new environment and also a new emotional state of mind in the world, which I'm very sensitive to, and I'm sure a lot of artists are. It's been both tricky, but also medicinal in the fact that it's like music is healing, and music is the one thing that I think throughout this 2020 is kind of held people together. So it's been, there's goods and bads, and I'm just really excited now. We've finished everything, mastered it. We've worked really hard, but obviously it's not like normal releases. So it's just adjusting and keeping positive and just doing the best that you can to do, like, you know, within the circumstances. Having
listened to the EP, it brought to mind this Carrie Fisher quote that always sticks in my head, which is, take your broken heart and turn it into art. Is that a fair kind of summary?
Yes, this is why I tell everyone when my social life is up in flames. It's like Devil Wears Prada. It's like, it's time for a promotion. It's like the art is, you know, giving you what you need. And you hear that in the best ballad heartache music of all time was real. You can't really fake those emotions, you know? And I guess that's why I love my job, because I'm a Scorpio woman. You know, I've been through I love hard. I feel everything so vividly, and I'm so blessed to have my art. Like, some of these songs are text messages, you know, into lyrics and things I've said, but I just was like, oh my goodness, like I have to, you know, and then you even hear in the songs and you're being taken back, but that's what art is. And I love it. And I love being able to make something ugly and so hard to process and swallow. Like, I was so broken. But worked through it. And this project really documents that journey.
Was any one song on there particularly like painful or difficult for you to write because of the emotions that it was expressing?
Love Me Again and Please Don't Touch were written around a similar time. And Love Me Again was one of the most emotional songs to write for me, because I literally called and said, like, is there anything I could do to make you love me again? Like, it's crazy. And I was so, like, I can't even tell you, like, I drove to the studio and I was supposed to be working with some people, and it was raining. I was listening to Bonnie Tyler, Turn Around, every now and then, playing Up to the Stereotype. The rain was hitting the windscreen wiper. I pulled up to the studio. I couldn't even go in. I was so distraught. So I turned around, went home, crawled into my house, literally fell onto the piano. And the first thing that came out was the chorus.
Wow.
Hello, how you doing? Oh, and as horrible as not horrible, but as like emotional as it was to write, you know, singing it on tour. I was on the Khalid tour and I got to really sing it every night. It both empowered me and broke me all over again. Like, people have to realize when artists are singing songs, you know, it's like kind of ripping open a Band-Aid for a little bit every time, and then you get to put it back on. But, you know, that's why we do what we do.
Another song on the EP, Natalie Don't, you've kind of described it as a modern day Jolene. you obviously had this personal experience, did you think to yourself, I want to write a song that's like a modern day Jolene, or did it kind of come out like that and then you realised in hindsight that's what it was?
You know what? It kind of happened accidentally on purpose. I remember I was in LA, I was writing with some amazing guy called John Hill, and we were in the studio and we had the chords. I love strings and brass together, so we were like fusing French horns and strings. Like for me, that's like an orgasm, like the combination of the two textures. So I'm like, I love this. I love where it's at. What does it need? And I hadn't done the chorus yet, and I got in the booth and I was like, you know what? I'm going to channel this thing that I'm dealing with right now. I'm going to channel it. And I remember singing the melody, "Oh no, there she goes." And I was like, this is it. Loved it. But then I was looking for the perfect 3-syllable name that was popular enough to kind of graft, like, you know, a demographic of whatever. It needed to ring off the tongue. So Natalie isn't actually Natalie. I chose Natalie because I felt like the name fitted and sang really well. And yeah, I've always been in love with Jolene, like one of the best. Like, it's my dream to meet her and have a writing session with her. She's one of the best songwriters of all time. And instead of just even taking the concept, I wanted to talk about the concept. So I mentioned her name in the bridge, and like, yeah, I adore her and her perspective, and that I was able to kind of bring my perspective to it and my story to it, you know, because that was hard to deal with. But again, it's another instance of music saving me. And I also love being able to create the opposite, you know, mid-project, where I'm trying to like start to lift things up more, where you have a kind of sad song that you can feel happy to, and you can kind of like cry but be happy. I don't know. And it really saved me. Natalie really got me through some things there. Yeah.
Well, you definitely have that vibe on the EP with Love of Your Life, which is like a super fun and uplifting song that kind of brings the euphoric element to Euphoric Sad Songs.
Yeah, that one is, this Love of Your Life is the reset. It's when you're like, okay, I've gone through it. I've gone, you know, it's the 7 stages of heartache. I know there was 9. There was meant to be 7 songs, but I just had to add some more. But, you know, you work through it. And it was actually my little sister who was like, I was in her room, I was just crying one day. I'm so emotional, like, I'm way too OD. But I was in her room, she was like, Ray, like, you have to take it easy on yourself. You're going through the 7 stages of heartache. I'm like, what's that? She broke it down for me. And she was like, and sometimes you can get to stage 4 and then go straight back to stage 2 or back to stage. And that's what I kept finding myself in this loop. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to document this process. I'm going to write a song at each stage. And that's what I did. And it was so healing. And Love of Your Life is that, like, I'm still broke. It's like, you hear kind of like, I'm just laying it all out on the table for you. I'm a mess. I'm a lot. But I will love you with every bone in my body. Come and find me, husband. Where are you? Boyfriend, partner. So yeah.
Do you feel like you learn a lot about yourself through writing these songs and putting them together in a body of work that does document this journey? Do you feel like you've kind of learned something about the way you are in relationships?
Yes. I'm learning stuff about myself every day. And I'm aware of, this process really did, I think, shed a lot of light on some areas. Also that I can't even put it into words in physically, which is why it's so amazing that music does it. But you can hear, like, since year 5, I was told year 5, I was like 10 in high school, primary school. And on my school report, it's like, Rachel Keane is very enthusiastic. That would be the first sentence on every single school report, just so you understand. So I'm a very intense, full-on person. And I'm aware of then how that helps me to create the music that I do, because I care so much about every detail. There's so much people don't see. I love my music, and I love music, and I love how music empowers and fuses people together. And like, I could talk about it for hours. Like, you can see my enthusiasm now. But I've learned a lot. I've definitely learned a lot. And more than anything, I've healed. And I think the music helped me to do that. And I didn't think I could actually do it. I thought this guy was my husband. Like, I thought, this is the one. And I'm watching him walk away. And I can't even, he's everywhere. I can't even, you know. But I'm healed. I'm good. I'm better. And I'm like, I wish you all the best. Like, I'm good now, hon. And I know also it's one of them ones, it's empowering, isn't it? It's like, you're going to regret this. Look at this. So you could have had that. Anyway.
Is there a part of you that's, a bit nervous about the fact that he's going to hear these songs and know what they're about?
Yeah, part of me is. But also, like, this is kind of the reason why I create these songs are almost like a mini message to, I almost like wrote them in preparing myself that he would hear it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's empowering. Like, I think like Walk On By, which is track, I don't even know, no, 8.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. And that song, I remember, and if you listen to the lyrics, it's one of the ones you can just vibe out and not really listen to the story. If you listen to the story, it was the last time we really connected, and it was really beautiful. It was like an ugly, beautiful movie. Again, like, I live for these movie moments. And I remember that story because it took me a year to write about it. And when I did, I sculpted it. So I don't know, it has that empowerment. And it was like, we made sweet loving. Then I shut the door. I took the wine off the kitchen counter. He was asleep. I left him sleeping. I took my wine. I was crying again. Ran down the hotel lobby in the Mondrian. Ran down the elevator, crying with my wine. Got in the cab. And he texted me, "Where did you go?" And I was like, no, you know? And I put it into these words. And I'm really like nervous, but excited and proud. I wanted to hear it, and I want him to be like, damn, you know? Yeah.
I guess the bonus is you don't have to explain how you were feeling to any of your friends ever again. You can just be like, do you know what, listen. I'm not going to say...
Listen, girl. I need you to sit down and listen. Here's the lyrics. Let me know what you think. Literally.
You've spoken in the past about wanting to work with more women in the studio, female engineers, producers, co-writers. Was that something you were able to do when making the EP?
I was, definitely able to do this more. I think something really important to me and all of lockdown, it has been about women and safe spaces. It's crazy. It is crazy, to say the very, very least, what women endure in this industry. Again and again, in all levels of unokayness and unacceptability, it's just not on. So for me now, I don't even really, unless I really know who I'm working with, feel comfortable going to a studio without another woman or without someone with me, due to just, I won't even get into it. So I feel very, very passionately about protecting our girls. Also knowing that I'm so like, I'm vocal and I'm able to like, if someone's doing, not, excuse me, do you know what I mean? But for my girls who are like more fragile and more timid or less confident, or, I have such a heart for our women. So for me, I've been extremely passionate about creating spaces, female heavy. I've been doing it during lockdown, just a room, all girls, no guys. It's so cool and rare. It even feels weird because it's like, where's the guy? Like, we always have a guy when making music, And it's not about saying men are shit, men are trash. It's not even about that. It's just about equality. And the fact is, the statistics still show us there are it's crazy how many women are involved in the production process. I think 2 or 1% is female producers. 1%. What? Writers is something like 20 or 30%. These stats I was looking at last week. So we still have a lot of work to do, and it has to come from us. It has to come from us artists demanding that change and seeking it out and putting those rooms together. Women heavy, and it is so empowering. Can't tell you. Me and Mabel have become really close at the moment. We've become super tight, and we've been writing for my project, for her project. And it is so beautiful because me and her have been kind of pitted against each other from the beginning. Even to the point, that we pulled up in the car. This is before lockdown, a while ago. Pulled up in the car somewhere, and she's in the back seat, and some guys come over and they're like to me, "Oh, you're Ray or Mabel or some shit." I was like, "Mabel, you need to pop your head out." She popped her head out, and we were like, So for us to be able to like unite, opposed to it having to be what it felt like from the beginning, like, from music days, 60s, 70s, 80s, like, this is your competition, don't talk to her, be better. Like, what is that? Nah. So I love women. I'm in love. I've been learning so much, even about past mistakes I made when I was growing up in the industry, of how I felt I was bred to view women as competition also. I was 16, 17, and I felt like people around me were encouraging that competitive, ugly nature from me. And it's not who I am. I'm a lover. I'm not a hater. I'm not someone who, So we've learned a lot, and women, more women, more women. It's so powerful, so powerful.
Where do you think that kind of, this kind of encouraging of women being competitive with other women comes from? Is that from people in the industry who think that maybe there's only like a certain number of places on playlists for women, and so that's the way it's spoken about in meetings? Is that where the root of the problem is, do you think? Well,
you look across history, you see it's very recently women have even earned their voice. Was it like 100 years ago? Or history, I don't know my stats. I don't want to sound like an idiot, but we've only just gained our voice. And to be very, very honest, it isn't until the last 4 or 5 years that the message of female empowerment has really even started to become a priority for people, And I came into this industry, and it made something that should have been beautiful really ugly and confusing at times. It makes you paranoid. It makes you not yourself. People being like, look at what she did. So as if there's as if there's only one spot. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's a lie. It's all a big lie. And I think, to be honest, it just stems from the past to where we are now, of men feeling this kind of, I don't know, men in this industry are weird, not all of them, but some. Like, how can you think like this? It's very backwards, very dated, very old fashioned, and very silly. As far as I'm concerned, the world is so much more of a beautiful place when we're supporting each other than actually drawing each other out. And it's not just even about saying it in interviews and talking about it and being like, yeah, I love women. No, it's doing it and being about it and being with these girls. Like, when I've linked up with my female artists, like Mahalia, like Zara Larson, like my girls, like we've been Mira May, like my girls, we finally talk and we're like, oh my God, you feel like this too? Wait, you're dealing with it? What? Like, it's so beautiful that we figured out as women, you're all wrong. We can all love each other, actually help each other win, help write each other's songs, champion each other. This is how it's supposed to be, as far as I'm concerned. So, and I could go on about it for ages. But yeah, I'm annoyed about how I was made to feel about women early in the beginning. It was actually Charlie XCX as well who broke that first thing for me. She directed my video and wrote some songs with me when I was young, like really starting out. And I was like, wow, this big artist took time to help me wow, I could do that too for artists one day. Like, really, really amazing. Love that girl. Love that woman. What a woman.
Do you feel as though the industry as a whole has always understood and supported you as an artist? Because you're not an artist who needs to stick to any one genre. You could work with David Guetta or Stormzy or Jessica Lange or Mabel, or Paris, like a big range of artists. Do you feel like you've been understood as an artist because you are someone who doesn't need to pigeonhole yourself? When
you put it like that, it sounds so cool. But there is a thing of what has been really tricky is I see it as I have two jobs. I'm an artist, but I'm a writer. And as a writer, I'm so in love with all genres and understanding all genres. I've done my research. I enjoy delving in. I enjoy adapting. I'm a very musical person. I don't know why I can. So what it is it's amazing for my pen. It's amazing for my writing career. But as an artist, I've been really told, like, from the beginning, Ray, what's your sound? Who are you? What do you look like? You need to pick one thing. You keep trying to do this and then that and then this. And so for a long time, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I choose one thing? I love dance music. I love pop music. I grew up in the church, so I learned to sing. I love gospel, love R&B. I love sing rap. I used to do that when I was younger, making beats, jazz. I love jazz. So it's a lot to process. But I think I've kind of drawn to the conclusion of I'm just going to make whatever I want. And a sound is starting to form anyway, but it's going to continue to evolve because I'm a musician. I'm a creative. I'm like, oh, I want to do something like that. Oh, la, 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 la. I'm so excited, rejuvenating things and blah, blah, blah. So I think, it's about putting less pressure on myself to, I don't know why people really want an identity. I guess it's like, strength, and it's a strength, but I think my strength will be in, you never know kind of really what you're going to get.
The last time I interviewed you, you spoke about when you wrote You Don't Know Me, and the label heard it and kind of wanted to take it off you to give it to a different artist.
Yeah.
And you put your foot down, and obviously you had this huge hit with it. Do you feel like you're in a place now where the label wouldn't try to do that? If you wrote a song that they thought, oh my God, this would be a big hit, even if they might think it sounds perfect for some other artist, do you feel like they wouldn't even try that now? Because no, it could still happen.
They would not. No, they would not try it now.
They would.
They wouldn't.
Okay.
I've earned my stripes there now. Like, do you know what? It's one of them ones. It's like it's earning respect and earning, your flowers, so to speak. It is how it is. I started out, I signed at 17. I'm 23 now. It's been a long time. At the beginning, it's like, even as a writer, I'm writing songs for people and people want to do me dirty with the splits. People want to take the complete piss, because I'm a young woman and I don't have that. But I have that now. I have my credits now, Now I know that if I go and write something with someone and they want to release it and whatever, I can demand what I feel is fair, what I want, with no pushback or stick, to a certain degree. But it's taken a long time to get to that place. Just kudos and flowers to any women that's killing it. Because at the beginning, people want to undermine you, undersell you, underplay you, undervalue you, what you're capable of. No. The men know best. Listen. No. None of that. But yeah.
You co-wrote a song with Beyoncé, Bigger, for her The Gift album. Did writing a song with, what is probably the biggest artist in the world, did that make a difference in how you're perceived by the industry? Did that feel like a moment where suddenly like, oh, okay, suddenly she's writing with Beyoncé now, so we definitely can't mess her around?
Yeah, definitely. But it's just how it works, isn't it? It's like, the proof is in the pudding, is the phrase. A cut like that is life-changing. And then it means now in all songwriting conversations, I'm now taken seriously through genres. And I worked hard for that, I wrote a lot of songs for that project. And I was one of the first to arrive, last to leave. Like, I put the shift in, but it paid off, thank the Lord. And yeah, it's really like now, you know, it's easier for me to get into the rooms I've dreamed about being in.
Because you spoke in another interview about working with Cardi B. Like, has that happened? Is that something that's in the pipeline at the moment?
It's not happened yet, but this is only really recently that we've sent her team some ideas and starting points. And I mean, they haven't asked me to sign an NDA, so I'm assuming I can talk about this. But yeah, they love my perspective on certain stuff. They really want to get me involved. So that's really exciting because, again, it's like people might see me as a pop writer or a dance writer, but that is a whole other bag that I haven't even really shown people in my music. You know, my like kind of rap flows and my like hip hop, R&B, kind of my more black side, if you like.
What do you learn from kind of, I mean, when you are asked to write for people like Beyoncé and Cardi B, it seems like it's almost like a whole industry that you're getting part of. What do you kind of learn as an artist, as a songwriter from that experience? Is it a kind of, do you feel like you're kind of thrown in at the deep end, or does it feel quite comfortable?
I work really well under pressure, so I love being thrown in the deep end. I actually find that's the kind of, I need that to be like, right, how are we going to get that bag? But you learn a lot. Also, the industry is very different in America. It's a whole other ball game over there. I believe artists are even nurtured in a whole different way. It's very, very interesting. The graft, the hustle is different there. Artists are almost, I feel like mini gods in America. Like in the UK, I think there's an element of like, not to say, how do I word this correctly? Like Ed Sheeran and Adele. It feels like if you went to the pub with them, you would have the best time. Do you know what I mean? They just feel like your friends. Yeah. So I feel like in America, it's quite different. There's it's different, you know, and artists have just like the full thing. It's not a small deal. It's a whole thing. So it was like, wow, this is a whole other world. And how do I make a noise here? You know, I remember first going to LA, I hated it. I was 17, I was like, what is this awful place? But I went Grammy week and I was nobody, so to speak. And I wanted to be a huge writer. And people come up to you and it's like, hey, who are you? What can you do for me? Nothing? Oh, there's a friend over there, I'm gonna buy. It was just like, what? And then learning, you know, okay, right, I'm gonna go into these big rooms, getting thrown into these big rooms. And being like, I'm not leaving until everyone in this room knows my name, is like, she's a lit writer. Like I go in like, this is my goal and I won't leave until I've achieved those things. And I think it's that kind of persistence and determination you have to have as a young girl without the credentials at the time, which I didn't have. I didn't have anyone to plug me. I didn't have a shortcut. I had to go in and just try and, you know, and then I'll go collect emails, collect numbers, texting people, hi, hustling. It's a whole thing, you know, it's a whole thing.
You think, I think arguably like the most iconic song and video of this year is WAP. Like it feels like a total game changer.
Oh, yes.
Do you think that song will make it easier for female artists to write really frankly about sex and their sexuality? Do you think it will kind of open the door for a whole different type of songwriting for mainstream songs?
I would like to hope so. I would like to think so. I would like to think so. I mean, you still see so much backlash for that song, as huge of a song it is. There is so much backlash. Ew, why are you talking about your pussy? Shut up. You are all listening to men talking about doing whatever they're doing to women. So I love Megan Thee Stallion being like, if it don't hang, then it can't bang. I'm like, yeah, you better draw the men out too. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's how it needs to be. It's empowering and it's beautiful. The song is incredible. The video is amazing. And we all needed that song this year. We needed that song. We needed that song. Yeah, I think it's, you know, the more of that we get, the more accepting people are, and the more women can just be themselves and express themselves how they want to.
If I feel like if there's one song this year that's taken us out of whatever else is going on in the world and made us think about something else, it's that song. Because when you watch you're not thinking about
some whores in this house. Certified free, 7 days a week. Everyone, you put it on immediately and the mood changes. Thank the Lord for that song. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Cardi, and all the writers and producers involved. Thank you.
You touched on this a bit earlier. You do work in dance music, not entirely, but quite frequently. If you go back 20, 25 years, it's a conversation that's only happening now, but black female artists in dance music were given not even no respect. They weren't even credited on songs. Like the vocalists wouldn't get a credit. How much do you think things have improved now? Do you feel as if, black women working in the dance music world are being given the respect they should be? Or do you still feel as if they're kind of treated as a voice that, is going to be chopped up and put on a track, but they're not going to be treated as an artist in their own right?
Exactly that. It's exactly that. I can't tell you how much work is left to be done in that. Also, because I think dance music, for some reason, is viewed as a white male genre. I don't know if that even makes sense. But like this year, Radio 1 invited me to do my own set for Dance Weekend. Not Dance Weekend, for Ibiza Big Weekend. Ibiza Weekend, that's it, sorry. Which is, I can't tell you how shocked I was, which is not sad, but kind of sad, because I've been balls deep in the dance world for a minute. And, it was the first time I realized there was a really big issue is when I was listening to the radio and You Don't Know Me is playing, and it's like, that was Jax Jones with You Don't Know Me. Are you crazy? Like, what? Like, with all due respect to Jax, who's my brother, that's a sample, and it's a top line that I'm singing, that I wrote, and that's my voice. Like, what? Do you know how I cried? I was in the car crying. What? And then I realized something really quick, and that was, I'm gonna have to work 5 times harder for people to want to hear my name next to one of these songs, And it was a really harsh reality. And it made me actually quite bitter for a while, because I just didn't understand. How can a producer come along? Look, I love Jax, by the way. This is not aimed at him, but this is looking at the dance industry as a whole. How can a producer come along, take a female's vocal, not even feel the need to put her name there, and then make money off a record? I'm sorry, I'm not okay with that. I think it's wrong. And I think it's not on. It's not on. You have to give credit where credit's due, as far as I'm concerned. So Becky Hill is kind of like the only other female artist who got her Ibiza Weekend slot.
Okay, yeah.
But it should be balanced. There should be just as many men, just as many women, because there are just as many women on these house music, on these dance music songs, on these songs you're in the club singing along to. It's crazy. It's wrong. It's wrong as far as I'm concerned. And I don't care that I have to be the one to do those ranty posts and be like, thank you, Radio 1, for giving me this slot. We need more women now. Yeah. Thank you for letting me have that light. And trying to explain to people why we feel the way we feel as women, especially in dance music, where it's so like masculine, like it's not, it makes me red to my core. But change is going to come, and I'm going to make sure, again, I'm going to continue to grow. And the more I continue to grow, I will continue to work hard to shed light on these things. It just needs to change. If a female vocal is on the song, credit the vocal. Talk about the singer. Give her a platform too. Why are you trying to steal all the line? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, you can see there's a lot of past angst. But progressing, we are progressing. It's just frustratingly slow. I can't imagine how women in the 60s and the 70s really felt. I just can't fathom it because I'm so frustrated today, you know?
I mean, if you go back to the 90s, you know, that female artist in the dance song wouldn't be credited. She probably wouldn't appear in the video. They'd put a different woman in the video. So that's progress, in slow progress, something.
Facts. It is. What it is for me, I think that hurts me the most is that I feel like people don't really believe women are actually capable to achieve the things that they do. And I think that's what gets me most is it's like, we are so incredible and good at what we do, and just give us the flowers for it. Give the credit where the credit's due, instead of it being like, oh yeah, the man did everything and she just came and sang it. Like, that's not what it is.
What are your plans for 2021? Or is it really hard at this point to kind of think of that because you just don't know where the world's going to be?
Album number 1, baby. I'm dropping my album 2021. I don't care what anyone says. That's my plan. That is my plan. So that's what I will be doing. I'm going to work really hard to just make sure it's everything I want it to be. Debut album isn't a joke. So I'm very excited. It's been a long time. And, you know, it's been so hard, like, having to do years of interviews. People are like, where's the album? Where's the album? And it's not that I don't have one. It's just, I've had so many bodies of work that I could have, you know, but it's just label politics on top of what, if I'm really what I'm going to say, what's going to look like, what's going to be, earning the ears to have enough people listening to the album, people actually wanting an album. So yeah, 2021, album. And hopefully some live music would be fabulous. Who knows?
Does this EP feel like an important step in like getting to the album stage? Because it's 9 tracks, it's a substantial body of work. Does it feel like you know, this is the very last thing you're going to do before album?
I think so. It's also, you know, in a world where everyone wants singles artists. When I say everyone, maybe it's just my label. I don't know. And not that they want it, just that, you know, it's a business at the end of the day. If you look at it from the, you know, the cold perspective of the fact that whatever. But I want to be a projects artist. I have so much to say. I have so many songs. I love writing songs. I'm really excited, instead of moving single by single, to move project by project. And that's my goal moving forward. I've worked hard. It's going to be a really amazing moment when I'm like, that's an album, you know. I'm going to cry so much. I'm so excited. Very excited.
Well, thanks so much for your time. It was a pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Likewise.